What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and it is for Performapal. So I was a little bit inspired. I've been trying to work on this list actually for a while now, and I got a little bit inspired by one of the trips videos that he put up for Performapals. So I decided to finally dive in, fix the problems that I was having with the deck, and finally get it to the point where I'm more than happy to say that this is a competitive build. You can win games and matches with this deck. Overall, Performapal, it's just not as good as what it used to be. That's just plain and clear. It's no longer the tier 0 deck that it was at YCS Sydney 2016, but it is an engine that you can consider playing in Pendulum if you do want to play it, and overall, it works fine. It is essentially just a rank 4 turbo deck. Puts out a lot of things that can disrupt the opponent and can make people have very bad times. But before we do get started, as always, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people to the channel. And let's get on into the deck profile. Okay, so starting us off, we have, of course, the primary normal sum of the deck, and that is 3 copies of the Performapal second donkey. Look at this donkey. Look at this face. This gets normal summed on you. You should be scared. But, yeah, 3 copies of second donkey. When you have your 2 scales down, you just normal summon this. It does trigger on special summon as well, so that is something you can consider. Whenever you pendulum it out, you do get that add. However, you do typically want to normal summon it, because then you can add one of your Performapal pendulum sorcerers, or the other Performapal card you play, but the Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer can then get those pops to net you those searches to get you more plays for later on if you do want to go that line. After that, we do have the last Pendulum we play, or the last Performapal. There's a lot more Pendulums to come, but it's 3 copies of Performapal Celestial Magician. So this one nets you searches in end phase when there's another Pendulum on board, so it helps you consistency for turn 3, turn 5, kind of getting through those pushes. When you have the Synchros and XCs, this can actually become quite threatening as well. I believe when you have synchros, it turns off monster effects. So if your opponent's been holding some hand traps for a little later in your combo, you slap this down, make the synchro, activate the effect. Then next off, we get into our Magician lineup. So we're playing 3 copies of Harmonizing Magician. Of course, this can summon the next card and that Celestial Magician. The Celestial Magician does get negated though, so you can't use that nice effect to protect from monster effects and get the extra search in your end phase. But then we do have, of course, the next Magician, which is just 1 copy of Purple Poison. I don't feel as though playing 2 copies of this is necessary, because you just really are only ever going to search it if it's your low scale option, because you can just get the Celestial Magicians out of the deck with the Harmonizing. You don't really have to go into your Purple Poison. I just kind of keep it here for a Pendulum Call low scale target. After that, we've got our Performage lineup, so we've got 1 copy of Damage Juggler, 1 copy of Hat Tricker, and 1 copy of Trick Clown. So you have your Hat Tricker for the free special summon, the Juggler can net you searches for either, and the Trick Clown, of course, just loops itself back. It's rank 4 turbo, so this is just kind of a good engine to be playing. After that, we are playing a Supreme King package, so we've got that Supreme King Dragon Darkworm at 3 copies, and the 1 copy of Gate 0. This card just nets you so much value off your Penge Call, so if you have to ditch something off that, you ditch this, get your 2 searches, slap this back on board, get your 0 scale. It just gives so much pluses if you open that kind of interaction. You do also play some foolishes to trigger this off. Overall, it's just a 1-for-1 to get you an extra body on board plus a scale. It's just a good way to play. Then after that, we've got, of course, 2 copies of Zephra as we get into our Zephra package. I feel as though 2 copies is correct because we have slimmed down our lineup a bit. Typically, you're only going to be resolving Zephra twice, so playing 2 Zephra is fine because you're just limited on your targets. And it's searchable, so you don't need to stress too much. Then we've got 2 copies of Zephra Nui after this, so this is going to get you your negations. Can be sent off Zephra to give you the 7 scale, which is always good. Then we have 1 copy of Zephra Thuban if you need to send a low scale off the Zephra to kind of set up your pendulum plays. Then the last monster in the deck is, of course, 1 copy of Master Pendulum the Draco Slayer. We're playing this just because it's the card that we're going to be summoning off the Synchro, to give us more rank 4 plays going forward, because the Synchro can then, it can interact with the opponent, and then also extend you, which is why we're playing 1 copy of the Master Pendulum. For the spell cards, we're playing 3 copies of Duelist Alliance, just to net you just more pluses, add you any card with Pendulum in its name, including Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer, because it is a Pendulum card. So if you open up already your Pen Call, you can just go Duelist Alliance, add that, away you go. Of course, after that though, is the 3 copies of Pendulum Call. This card is just free plus the card. Hopefully if you open it with Darkworm, you're going even better. After that though, we've got 3 copies of Zephra Providence. Can balance from grave to protect your Zephras, which is good. The only time this is bad is if you open multiple, because it's a hard once per turn, which kind of really sucks. Then we are playing, of course, one copy of Oracle of Zephra after that. Just this searches all your monsters. Does get you extra plays or pluses if you use the Zephra Thuban for things, which is something you can keep in mind. Then for the last of the spells, we're playing one copy of Dragon Shrine and one copy of Foolish Burial, just to dump either your Foolish Burial can get you the Dark Worm, or it can get you Trick Cloud. The Dragon Shrine just gets you Dark Worm. Then for our traps, we have one copy of the Zephra Divine Strike, and the one copy of the 9 Pillars, which you're going to search with your Zephra Nui. Okay, next off we have the... Oh, that's the side deck. We need to ignore that, because that's what we're going to be playing for locals. But next off we've got the extra deck, of course. It is now one copy of the Time Star Magician. This is just gets you your level 4 search. Also can, when it's popped, or attempt to pop, you can Foolish instead. Gets you a Trick Clown, which can then extend into more plays, because you are playing like a way to get to Dryden in this extra deck. We do have one copy of Abyss Dweller after that. Wins against a lot of decks in my locals, so rank 4 turbo, make this, is good. One copy of Tornado Dragon to deal with those pesky back row decks. This is just rank 4 turbo, so you're just playing some genuinely good rank 4s. One copy of Baguska to switch everything to defense. Some decks have a bad time with it, so in it comes. Then we hit our Zodiac lineup, so it is 2 copies of Charcanine. This is important, so it's 2 Charcanine, 1 Tiger Mortar, and 1 Dryden. So the Charcanines essentially is 2 level 4s, so you can just make this off 2 level 4s. Overlay the Dryden. Dryden effect can pop the Time Star detaching the Charcanine. Then because you haven't already made a Dryden, because you already haven't hard made a Charcanine, you can just slap down another Charcanine on top, detach the Dryden, summon it back, overlay the Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar can attach a material, and then you've got yourself a free link material here with the Tiger Mortar to go into like an IP Masquerena or something. Something you can consider playing in this in the extra deck is something like an F-Zero. I know in the future, in the Triff video, he raises like Utopic Future Dragon should be the thing you're making. That card came out 2 years ago in the OCG, and we still haven't seen it, so I don't see it coming anytime soon. The card is very, very good. However, we don't have it, which is a big problem. So just a standard F-Zero is something you can make if at your locals you're having issues with like big cards. You can slap that down in that situation, and then just suck something up in the battle phase. Then after that, we are playing one copy of Zodiac Borbo. This can probably be cut. Overall, I haven't really made this. The only time I have is when you have the Time Star, the extra deck, the Pendulum Magician, I've already forgotten his name, that increases attack buff. So you just make that, so you've got a Borbo with attack that can actually attack, and you just go direct. Then you slap down the Zeus on top of it. Overall, you can probably cut the Borbo, though the Zeus can go down on most things because they're going to end up attacking anyway. You can probably look at cutting it for something, either the F-Zero, or you can consider playing the Performapal rank 4. That is something that does also work in this deck. Then after that, we've got one copy of Ignis to Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer. Gets you the interaction and also gets you the summon, so it's just an overall good card. Then we've got one copy of IP Masquerena after that, as we get into our link package. So we've got the IP, we have the Nightmare Unicorn, and also the Underworld Goddess that you can go into off it. This does force you to consolidate your entire board if you do decide to go this way. So it's not super ideal, but if there are just problem cards you can't out, you can just IP into this on your opponent's turn. Hopefully that means they've had a bad time and you have a good time. But then of course, rounding out the extra deck, we have one copy of Access Code Talker. But that wraps up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any recommendations or changes you would make sure to comment them down below. And as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.